Told you. You can't whistle, man. Welcome to O.Chaplins Picks, where I need to watch movies like a zombie needs to eat brains. I just got out of seeing the movie Whistle. I caught a nice little matinee, and the movie theater was completely empty, so it was great. I'm not saying it's empty because the movie's bad. I think it's just because the time of day that I went. Sometimes I really like having the movie theater to myself because I can just kind of kick back and feel like I have this giant screen all to myself. It's about a group of high schoolers who come across a ancient Aztec death whistle. They get it in their possession, and one of the students foolishly blows the whistle and brings upon the consequences that come from this Aztec death whistle. I really like that this movie gives big time Final Destination vibes. You just don't know what's going to happen to any of these characters after they blow the whistle, but you know they're going to die a horrible death. So essentially the way the whistle works is it brings your own death to you. So however you were going to die in the future, that's how you're going to die from the whistle. It basically speeds up your death. If you were going to die when you were 40, it brings that death that was going to happen to you when you were 40 at your current age, even if you're 20, or in this case, they're high school students. So that was a really cool, interesting concept. I really liked the lore that they created around this death whistle, and I thought they did a good job of how it works, because the plot is pretty simple. I don't think I need to really say too much other than that. It's a high concept, but a simple plot. It just revolves around this Aztec death whistle. So I'm going to give it 4 out of 5 brains. And I'm going to get into my 4 brain reasons, and then I'm going to get into my 1 brain dead reason of why it didn't get 5 brains. So reason number 1 is the unique concept. You know these people are going to die, but you don't know how they're going to die, and you know it's probably going to be in horrible ways. And that was one of the things I loved about the film, was trying to guess how each one of these characters was going to die. It felt like it could have been based on a Goosebumps book. It actually reminded me of this Goosebumps book I read when I was a kid called How I Got My Shrunken Head, which is also about a tribal item that brings bad things to you if you have it in your possession. I haven't read the book in a long time, but it made me think of that book. It's like if they took a Goosebumps book and adapted it for adults.
Man, these are some dumb kids. Why would you blow on something called a death whistle?
You know, Mikey, they could take your head and turn it into an Aztec death whistle. You would look pretty similar to the one in the movie.
You just had to go there, huh? Well, I'd rather be a death whistle than listen to your dumb reviews any day.
My second brain reason is going to be the inventive kills. There are some very cool things that happen with some of these deaths. There's one in particular that happens to one character that was just very brutal and just super splatter gore. I mean, like, there's a lot of blood in this movie. Not every death is super bloody, but there's a couple of them in there that are just really savage and kind of brutal. And I just thought they did a really good job of making each death unique in its own way, and each version of each character as their death was very unique. My third brain reason is going to be the overall sense of dread. As I said, not knowing what's going to happen to these characters and when it's going to happen to them and how it's going to happen to them was very effective, and they have some great music in there. It's like got a really creepy score, which I really liked. The actual sound of the death whistle itself is really creepy and added to the sense of dread. Like, there's a lot of moments where a character is about to blow the whistle and then they don't blow the whistle, so that kind of had my suspense going. And then you do get the characters who blow the whistle, and you know, when you first hear it in the movie, it's pretty damn eerie. And then my fourth brain reason is going to be the cinematography. They have some great shots, even of just the Aztec whistle itself. Whenever the camera kind of zooms in on this death whistle and just holds on it for a bit, you really feel the creepiness of this thing. Like, it just looks really damn creepy. I personally would never blow that thing if I just randomly came across it. So that's one thing. Some of the characters are definitely a bit foolish in this movie and make some foolish choices, which is common with horror movies. They have some really cool supernatural shots in there. Towards the end, there's a really cool sequence they have that has to do with supernatural stuff that I thought was pretty cool and well shot and everything. So I really liked that. Now, the reason it's not getting 5 out of 5 brains is for my one brain dead reason. And my brain dead reason was the ending. I felt like the ending was a little bit too convenient, and it seemed for a moment like they were going to go in this one direction with the ending, and I was really hoping they were going to go there. It was going to be like a super dark direction, and then they kind of pivot. And I just felt that the ending was a little too convenient, the way some of the stuff worked out in there. And there's one character in particular who does something that I just felt like was very convenient to get the ending that they wanted. And I felt like they could have done something a little bit more creative or a little bit more clever. There was a moment where I was kind of like, oh, this is going to be damn, like this is crazy. And then it just, some stuff switches around and I mean, you know, they kind of wanted to take a safer route. That was the choice of the writers, but it is going to take off one brain for me that they didn't just kind of take more of a risk and just go with a more kind of brutal ending. So overall, it was definitely an enjoyable film. I mean, I'm glad I watched it. I would still recommend to go check it out. There's definitely enough in this movie to like. And as I said, if you like movies like Final Destination, then you'll definitely get a kick out of this movie. And thanks again for checking out O.Chaplins Picks, and I'll see you guys next time.